I was very new to Nigeria in 64 when I arrived. And by 72, we woke up one morning to hear that the schools had been taken over by the state. And that was a very sad event.
The government said, we are not getting what for the money that parents are paying. Therefore, we will take it over. That was the reason. Now, you have run the institution for some years. Compare and contrast.
They can't even pay teachers.
I do not see a better future for education in this nation if we just follow the way we have followed since the takeover 1979.
The decay in our society and how we can actually trace that to the poor educational standard. And it's just a pity that the sisters were not allowed to run the school. In the 80s, in the 90s, we even offered our services free of charge as volunteers because we were seeing the decay. We were not allowed. Today, St. Teresa's College has no presence of the OLA sisters or of no sisters at all. And for me, that is bad news. Bad news because this is part of the heritage of the college.
Look at what education has turned to here in Nigeria. In fact, the leaders, they don't mind if our students will be at home for years. It doesn't bother them. Everything is now haywire. They can't even pay teachers. And you know, if you cannot pay people who are working, you have frustrated them. They are not happy. They can't work. And if they work, you can't get the best out of them.
You can't continue doing something in the same way wrongly and you expect a better result.
So the government, the federal government, the state government, leave the schools to the mission, particularly Catholic mission. They are ready to take it over and bring it to the level of schools abroad.
If you had paid compensation for the structures, the land, and everything, then you could say you own it.
We see what is happening, and we see the turnaround that has come in states where schools have been returned. Please, or your state government, return our schools so that we can again build things along the structure that some of us had and has impacted on our lives.
Until the government do the needful, releasing the schools back to their former owners to handle, we are not likely to get much from our education.
The government just let the school go to rack and ruin. When the sisters had worked hard to build up, excellence, let me put it that way. The government, they didn't even inspect to see that the teachers were doing their work, that the students were coping. They just left. They didn't maintain. The schools fell apart. You went to St. Teresa's. The first time I went, I cried because the place had disintegrated so much. This is what people sweated to keep, and to see it now. Even we're still regretting today. And the ex-students are fighting to get back to school.